Welcome back, America. Sarah Westwood covers everything in Washington for the Washington Examiner. I would not be surprised to see her on the stage for the 2024 Republican presidential debates that are the front page story of the New York Times today, because she's fair. She is one of the few people who covered the Right to Life March this year. Good morning, Sarah. Will you be out on the street today seeing what's going on with the 49th annual Right to Life March?
Good morning. I will not, but some of my colleagues will be covering it today. So it's a very exciting day in Washington. A lot going on.
I liked your piece on the divisions within the pro life movement, which I think was subtle and nuanced and well done. Two questions I want to get to. First of all, the Secret Service logs, the story that you ran yesterday. I did not know that those existed until I read your story. I thought they were saying they didn't exist. Would you explain to people why the Secret Service logs may be the key to GarageGate and the seriousness of it?
Sure. So one of the top questions that House Republicans have is who had access to the classified information that was stored at the Wilmington House. And the White House maintains a visitor's log for who goes to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, but they've told reporters that they keep no logs of who visits, goes in and out of the Wilmington House. So House Republicans are sort of turning their attention now to the Secret Service, which has to vet anyone that comes in close proximity with the president. They have to perform a background check. It really depends on the nature of the meeting. So they might be incomplete visitors logs, but they do have a record generally of who's come in and out of the Wilmington House. And they've also indicated that they might be willing to work with Congress if they send a subpoena. So that will be potentially one avenue for Republicans to get around some of the stonewalling we're likely to see from the Justice Department and the National Archives.
Sarah, I have not heard anyone yet ask the question about the Mcclain house that the Bidens rented from 2017 to 2020. And where was it packed up? Where did its contents go? Has the president or anybody said they all went to the White House? They all went to the. Because the Secret Service didn't protect Wilmington and Bethesda until he got elected president. That's it. There are 4 years there where anybody can come into the garage who wants to take a look at the Camaro or whatever the Corvette that he drives, right?
Right. There's a lot of questions about that. How many times were the records that were found in the garage in Wilmington moved, before they were finally discovered through this whole process? So obviously, they might not have taken a straight line from the vice president's office right to Wilmington. There's a number of other places they could have gone beforehand. Same with the records that are still at the Penn Biden Center. And the clearing process for that office never even finished. It was sort of frozen in time because of that discovery of the documents. No one said, have they gone back to the Penn Biden Center and continued searching those closets and those desks at that office. So there's a lot of additional places where classified documents could be and a lot of unanswered questions about how thorough these searches have been.
Sarah Westwood, there is a story in the Hill today that the president's not going to negotiate with the Republicans over the debt limit. That's an early declaration of chicken. We're going to play a game of chicken. Are the Republicans, do they have their act together to announce their demands and to make sure that the American people know they're not unreasonable?
Yeah, that's the thing that the Democrats, I think, don't realize that they're doing. They're giving Republicans time to get their act together and to settle on a sort of consensus. Because right now there is not, one set of demands from Republicans. You have some, like Congressman Andy Biggs, who says he's not going to vote for the debt to raise the debt ceiling under any circumstances. Chip Roy wants to cap fiscal year 2024 spending levels at fiscal year 2022 spending levels, which seems like a direction that the Republicans might take. But you even have, swing district moderates like Brian Fitzpatrick in Pennsylvania saying that no negotiating is not an option. There will be some negotiating about some sort of spending cuts, whether that's a balanced budget act, whether that's cuts in non-defense areas to spending, that's unclear. But the Democrats are giving Republicans the time they need by refusing to send someone to negotiate. But Republicans are united on one key thing, which is that they are going to force negotiations to happen.
And they've got to get that out there. And the Hill is in the first piece I've seen yet. Now, let me ask about the select committee on the Chinese Communist Party Chairman Gallagher and on the weaponization of the government committee led by Congressman Jordan. Have any other announcements come yet? I can't find them, but you'll know them first if they have.
Announcements in terms of
Who's on it?
Oh, not really. Those committees haven't really gotten underway yet. I think, what an investigation that might have reasonably come into the weaponization of government's purview is being conducted under the larger judiciary about how the Justice Department handled the Biden document case. So far, they haven't really gotten going, but it's early days. We could see some action soon.
It's been 2 weeks, and the speaker's got to get moving on this, particularly China and the Intel committee flip-flop. So I think it's going to go to a +2 Republican. Do we know who got added to Intel yet? Was that announced?
I don't think so, but they are starting to fill out some of the subcommittees. We know that there are some Freedom Caucus members on the Oversight Committee now, for example, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, people who would be, more aggressive in doing the congressional investigations than before when you saw that committee made up of more moderates. So we are starting to see what kind of deals were cut by McCarthy to get this speakership based on the makeup of some of these, what you'd call A committees.
The A committees in terms of visibility are China and weaponization, and we haven't seen that yet. So I'll be watching Sarah Westwood's byline. Follow her on Twitter at Sarah C. Westwood. Sarah, thank you for joining me. It wouldn't be Friday without seeing your smiling face.